Hey everybody. All right. I'm back. I'm here in the spot. I'm outside the office. This is a little night chat. I'm outside the office and it's very late. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm listening to the sounds of the night. I never heard them this loud before. Can you hear all of that? Okay, listen, by the way, the name of this channel is The African Times. And I'm Thomas. And as I told you, it's very late in the evening, early in the morning, whichever way you want to look at it. That's why I always say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, brothers and sisters all over the world. Kakas and gagas, gagas and kakas. Anyway, I just wanted to know if you could hear that. Listen, I think that's a frog. And one thing sounds like it could be a cricket, but if that's a cricket, like where I'm from, cricket, it's a very loud cricket. It's crazy. Sounds of the night. Before I left the office in the daytime earlier, I saw a snake. It wasn't a very big snake. For me, it wasn't. It was kind of long, but it wasn't very big. And it almost looked like what we call, where I'm from, a garden snake or gardener snake. Can't remember the exact term, but it just kind of green with a black stripe down the back. Didn't look particularly scary to me, and it was standing there, kind of being still. But people I were with were like, "Hey, I think you need to kill it. I think you need to kill it." But I didn't kill it. I was in a hurry. I probably would have maybe killed it, maybe, but I was in a hurry. There was a snake I saw at my house. It's a little different. It's a little bigger. It had a different color to it. I killed that one, but I had to. So I'm gonna let you listen to this just one more time before I go. I got to start the Bajaji, and we won't be able to hear it once I start the Bajaji. But man, listen to this. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off, but I was just really surprised to hear this loud like this. Very loud. I'm up for a couple of reasons. One, kind of work related slash personally. I'm working through the night as much as I can, trying to work 24 hours a day because of having to get myself in a situation to be able to survive. And that puts, you end up having a lot of pressure. So you have to, you're constantly thinking and figuring and things like that. You want to get stable. You want to be able to maintain yourself here, and you have deadlines. Many of you, like I was telling you, it's a beautiful place. It's paradise. But to do the thing that I'm doing, to stay long term like that for years, like I was telling you guys before, I gave you the immigration numbers. So every 2 years, you have to make sure you have, you have to make sure that you have the immigration fees, and we have a business, and it generates it, but it takes a business time to establish itself and grow, and we're in the middle of that. So just like any business, you have concerns and thoughts and things that you have to do so that you keep the business healthy and successful. And so some of the cultural differences that you experience here in my business and what I do, dealing with individuals who actually have to go out and bring you money. Those cultural differences pose a certain types of challenges that we have to overcome. So a lot of times I spend time thinking about that. But so anyway, it's just a way to come out and have a little night chat with you, and let you guys hear the sounds of the night. And I'm not I'm not out on farmland right now. I'm not in a very rural area. It's really, really loud. But it's the sounds of paradise. So I'm going to turn this off. I hope you guys can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it while I'm talking. I don't even know if the camera is picking it up. I'll find that part out after I check the video, turn it off, and listen to it. But again, everybody, thanks for your support. I hope you are hearing some things and seeing some things that are in ways helpful to you. That's very important. That's the whole purpose of being alive. I'm going to tell you, for me, and I think it'd be important for all of us, particularly the men, to understand the purpose of life, to have one first, to have one, but to rise to a higher ideal of having one that involves an understanding that we're committed to each other for our safety and survival, whether we like it or not. That's the thing that is really the underlying principle that I think sometimes gets lost in all of the fanfare and talk about different things. You have to understand, whether you like it or not, we all are tied and committed to one another's survival. That even includes other people. So I'm going to have a chat with you about that, because one of the commenters sent me a comment talking about context in one of the videos, and that I think his point was that, or her point, I'm not really sure, but that I didn't take into consideration the context about what I was saying, and that's kind of interesting. That's always a good observation. I'm very acutely aware of context, and in the context of everything that is happening to me, to us as a group. This individual went on to talk about our obligation to each other as people, and that's paternal. Primarily, we don't have an obligation unless it's paternal or family, that type of situation. And I didn't get a chance to really respond to it. I'm going to go into more detail, but if you notice, one of the things that's happening in the what's referred to by many as the conscious community, or people being aware or whatever, they're referring to each other as family. They're referring to each other as brother and sister. I do it. We all who understand that we are connected, and that we, whether we want it, like it, believe it or not, we're all connected. Even with the animals, the trees, microbes. We all share the same common theme. Life itself is common, which makes us all family. We all share life, a living experience. We all come into existence, and then as a result of coming into existence, we all leave this existence that we know as life. And what happens after that? To be quite frank, We don't know. I don't know. I've never been there. You never been there. There was one W dude who said he was going to come back and let us know. His name was Houdini. I don't know if many of you remember him. He's kind of a big magician or whatever they call it back in the day. Said if there's a way to come back, he will. And he hasn't. And he probably won't. I say probably because he probably won't. Yeah, so anyway, brother, I take everything into context, everything. And so when you do take everything into context, you understand that we're in danger if we do not recognize the natural need for us to function as one family, one people. If we don't understand that, then we face annihilation and destruction. And this is why, you hear everybody talking about China right now. China, and how great China is. And certainly China is a great nation, a great group of people. But their greatness is because they are a group of people united in purpose, action, intentionality. Now, they're not alone in the world. And part of their greatness is demonstrated in the fact that they are not alone in the world, and they conduct business what? With other people of the world, in other parts of the world, economically. So the context that, and again, I'm going to go into more detail about this later, but I'm just simply saying the context that we're talking about in every situation is one where we participate, work together as not individuals, not even individual groups, but as one large collective group functioning economically with one another, relating to one another in a way that involves economic transactions. And those economic transactions do not always involve money, currency. Those economic activities could involve trade of intellectual ideas, social relations that benefit one another, NATO, Warsaw, and even those two institutions that I just mentioned, which generally deal with security. But security is also an economic function, an economic transaction, because to function economically successfully, you have to have the ability to protect and secure your economic activity. You understand? So the only way to maintain that security in this world is to have certain military equipment, certain military capabilities. And you accomplish that by having what? An economy capable of supporting the development of that technology, maintaining that infrastructure, maintaining the human capital necessary to operate the equipment needed to provide your security militarily. So if you think that you're functioning individually and that you're operating in this world alone and only with your family, and you're gravely mistaken, and you'll be destroyed, as has been the case with many groups, even groups who understood that they were united in purpose, they were destroyed by another group. And you just take the natives who lived in America prior to the invasion of the W's. Many nations of people and different nations, but faced with the task that required them to come together as groups, functioning as one large group to protect itself. Even if they did that, if they had not prepared for the military technology that they were faced with, then they'll be destroyed by people who want to destroy them to take what they have. And this is what we face today. That threat to various groups of people has not gone away, and it's not going to go away, because these people and their organization still exist. So what I'm saying to you people is I'm out at night just doing some thinking here, just listening to the sounds of the night before I begin to drive, and thought I'd let you know a couple of those things. I want to deal with that, brother, and a few other things, a few other topics. Well, sister, I'm not really sure which, but no, there's context involved. It's like the context of sitting here with these crickets and snakes and frogs and whatever else out here, bats, plenty of them. Okay, everybody, listen, I appreciate you. Do me a favor, please. We're very close. We're now at 960 subscribers. We need 40 more. I need to get that this month. I appreciate it if you can help me. We need it. So thank you so much. And I'm going to have to start putting this at the beginning of the videos. Sometimes you guys, I'm not sure if everyone gets to the end of the video. So, but I appreciate all of you. Love you all. Appreciate those who have been viewing and listening and following. Thank you so much. I mean, I heard this saying many, many times as I was a young guy. Thanks from the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart. Now, I love you all. It's for our children, our seniors, and for us. Security of our future. And this is something that has to stay paramount on our minds. So please understand that. Love you all. Thanks for watching and listening. Appreciate you all. Hit that survival button. Thank you. Hit that like button if you like. Appreciate you so much. Talk to you guys soon. Uhuru. 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 Listen to those sounds.